was a breath of fresh air for me. After my first Workaway experience and having to leave it, I was feeling kind of down, but excited at the same time as I headed into Stockholm for a week. When I was in Stockholm, however, the weather wasn't great. There was barely any sun, it was wet and cold and gloomy every day. But I did get to see some nice places, so if you'd like to see that, you can check it out on Instagram. I'll be posting my adventures in Stockholm there. But yeah, back to Norway. When I got there, I had to climb up this huge hill of ice, and yeah, it was kind of like questionable. I didn't know if it was the right way, but when I finally got up there, I was greeted by like two really nice volunteers. They were from Germany, and yeah, they were really nice. In my stay there, I got pretty close with them and hung out with them a lot. But yeah, when I was in Norway, the weather was so nice. It was sunny. The air was so fresh, and the three of us, on the day that I got there, we headed down to the pier and we got to see like the sea, and the scale of all the mountains in the background was just so breathtaking and just so refreshing, honestly. Like you can see the view at the back there, that was the view that I had. And yeah, that was a really nice first day at Norway. So for this Workaway, it was kind of different from my first one. The first one I had very specialized tasks. I was there to edit videos for her yoga business, and I did it like every day. But for this one, it was kind of different. I had a variety of tasks, I did different things, and yeah, it just kind of depended on what was needed to be done that day. My first few days that I was there, I was helping the two other volunteers to prune trees outside. And man, it was a nice change of pace. You know, like having to edit videos like every single day for the past month, and then finally getting to go out, do some physical activity. It was nice. The weather was great as well. The sun was out. The weather was cool enough that, you know, it wasn't like sweaty and gross and stuff like that. And yeah, it was my first time climbing and pruning trees as well, so yeah, it was interesting to give it a shot. After the trees were done, I was tasked to fix some old furniture that she had. Alright, what do we got? So, loose joints. Wood. I'm going to cut this up and use this to zip tie and clamp things together. Open up the heart. I don't know why I didn't record the last bit of me fixing it up together, but basically what I did was I took two of the long pieces of wood that you saw earlier in the video, just zip tied them together to clamp the chair together so that the glue would set. I didn't have the best tools for the job. There were no clamps, I couldn't find any clamps, so that I had to do, and you know what? It fixed the chair regardless. After fixing up the chair, I reminded the host that I had some videography skills, and she was excited to let me shoot some videos for her. So I had a chance to work with her. She's a ceramic artist, so I get to see her do her work, you know, sort of film her process, photograph her process for her social media, and that was really fun actually. Those few days where I got to shoot with her was really quite inspiring. Oh, and on the last week, I remember it was snowing so heavily, like every 2 or 3 days it would snow for like the whole day. And yeah, that was an interesting experience, like seeing the snow go all the way up to like my kneecaps and stuff like that. Yeah. But because of that, I couldn't work outside, so she gave me some tasks indoors. So on the last week, basically, I just painted windows and doors. And well, I also had to find the paint to paint the doors with.
It's snowing. Paint. And the paint is frozen.
But yeah, once I got the paint, I painted the doors, and I think I did a pretty good job, you know. It was pretty chill. Just listen to some podcasts, listen to Trash Taste, listen to them chat while I paint. It was really relaxing.
Oh my god, look at that. It's snowing again in the night. Gosh.
But I think one of my favorite things that I had to do there was actually working with animals, right? So she had a little bit of a chicken farm going. So I got the chance to work and take care of the chickens. Like, I remember there was this routine, like in the day and the evening, where we had to feed the chickens and check up on the chickens, clean the coop, all the kind of stuff. And you know, I had a hard time at the beginning, I'll admit. I never worked with chickens or animals, let alone. And I remember when I tried to pick them up, I had no idea how to do it. I was afraid I was squeezing them too hard or something like that. They would peck at me and they kind of like hesitant to let me pick them up. But after a while I got the hang of it, and I think I made some cute little friends. While I was there, I also met a Filipino au pair. Yeah, we got along pretty well, and she and her friend, they brought me up to the mountain to do a little bit of like a barbecue thing that apparently Norwegians do. Yeah, it was a nice experience, but I think the experience going up and down was the most memorable one, honestly.
I think this way, right? Oh, that way. Okay. Yes, this is how Norway was meant to be experienced. Let's go, baby. Goodbye. Oh wait. Oh, no. Wait. I can walk here. I was sliding down for nothing. That's why I slide down.
So as I record this video right now, I'm like 2 weeks into my Workaway in Norway, and I think like after like reflecting on it a bit, like I find myself like wanting more out of this Workaway. Like, unlike my previous Workaway, like I find that I rarely interact with the host, and even when I did, it felt very brief and never felt quite like I was forming any sort of connection with the family in any way. I think we had dinner like once or twice, and during that dinner, it's like we barely had any meaningful conversation. And I remember recently over the weekends, like I ranted to my friend about how like, oh, like, you know, I felt like there was this line between me and the host. Like I didn't feel as welcome as I was like my previous host. But therein lies the problem with myself, actually. After that rant, I realized how much I kept constantly comparing this host with my previous host. And, you know, I came in with an expectation that one, this current host had no obligation to fulfill, and two, I did not even communicate that I wanted. So, as I record this now, I think I decided that I would take a little bit more initiative for myself and try to initiate some interest, you know, like, and curiosity with the family in my last week here. You know, I don't want to, you know, miss an opportunity, and I don't want to just put it all on them, you know. And hopefully I can make some good memories, you know, like, and we'll see how that goes, you know, like, yeah. Okay, so I decided, like, I was at the house earlier on, and I saw the family playing a board game, and, you know, they were doing their own thing, you know, they were like quite into it, and, you know, I remember I was standing at the door behind it, and I went to do some other stuff, and I came back and I was behind the door. I thought, okay, here's the moment, right? Here's where I can make a difference. So I opened the door, I asked them about the board game, and they invited me for a board game night. They invited me to play the board game with them, and so we have settled on a date, and Thursday they invited us over for dinner and board games. So hopefully more comes out of it. That's great. So alright, so what a difference just one dinner made, right? So since I last recorded, we finally had that dinner and games night. So I finally had some time to sit down and talk to the family and play games with the family. So we had dinner that night, we had some pizza. Then after that, we played Uno with the kids and the dad. And they loved it. So much so that after that, they kept inviting me the nights after to go back and play with them. Whether it's Uno or last night, we finally got to play some Mario Kart with the family. And it was great fun, honestly, this turned from just an okay experience into something that now being 2 days away from leaving Norway, and going back to Singapore, I'm feeling kind of sad that just as I got closer to them, I'm leaving. On top of these game nights, I also got to know the host better because I got more opportunities to just work with her and just have some more conversations with her. And after all this, I guess it's just making me really happy and also I guess sad that I'm leaving just when I got to know them better. I guess just going forward with all these workaways that I have planned and the journeys that I have planned for the rest of the year, I guess it's time to take a bit more initiative. Sometimes I just need to ask more, and I realize how much I just kind of expect things quietly. I just I don't say much. I just why isn't he doing this or why isn't he doing that, and silently comparing things in my head when I could just ask nicely if I want to try something with someone else, or in this case the family. I wanted to get to know them better, but I never asked them for it. I just kind of expected it. And I guess going forward I will try my best to ask more, and hopefully good things come out of it. And there it is. 3 months of traveling in Europe, the first leg of my year-long travels, is wrapping up. And honestly, it was way more fun and way more fulfilling than I could ever imagine it to be. And I met so many good people along the way. And I know everyone says oh, it's so good to meet people on your travels, and I met so many good, that kind of shit. But honestly, meeting people during your travels is something special. When you meet them, there's no face that they put up. They're not trying to get anything out of you. You just meet them as they are. And there's this innocence when you meet people. It reminds me of when you meet people when you were a child, You're just free and happy.